1 minute. 1 second. So, if you were to consider the Bhuta Shuddhi way of working, is that first we need to understand the Bhuta. So, out of the 5 Bhutas, one of the Bhuta we should be friendly with. Okay, now what is this friendly means? Meaning to say that you should experience that Bhuta, without which really nobody can experience anything. So, what we need to do is that we have to find out within ourselves what is our strength, so which we don't know. So that is when the God comes into existence. So then for the God you have to do something. The something is offering oneself to that deity or the God. So normally it is Agni, because that is most easiest, because it burns. It does two things: it burns the impurities and also it burns the person, that self which he thinks he is or she is. So now we have to make ourselves a servant of God, or and I can say child of God, or messenger of God, or something like that, where this person becomes a dasa or a servant. He doesn't have anything for himself. Everything is offered to that God or the deity. So now he starts his journey on the Bhuta Shuddhi. First thing he does is the Japa. This Japa is for 21 days long, can extend it to 42 days, 84 days, like that, multiples of it. If 21 days doesn't work, then it is 42. If 42 doesn't work, then it is 84. Till that I diminishes, the person is supposed to do Japa. Now the question comes, how long he needs to do the Japa? As long as that self identity is not gone, he has to do the Japa. Now the next question comes, I am a married person, I have a family, so then is it permissible to do so much of Japa? It's not the number which matters, it is what is that you want from the deity matters. So in the usual way of working, when we look at the deity, our aspect is about sukha and dukkha. Majorly that is where we start and that is where we end, and that is more than sufficient for us. I don't think so anybody is interested in getting more than that. They don't want dukkha, they want sukha. So if it is only sukha, then somebody has to give it, because world consists of both sukha and dukkha. But no human being, no animal, no bird, no being would love to have dukkha, be it physical or mental. Physical is the ailments what we undergo daily. That is, when we sweat, there is a smell. Then there is mucus, and that smells. Then there is fever or cough or cold or some kind of diseases manifesting, and that creates a lot of physical pain. And there are body aches, tremors, and lot of other things. And the deepest of that is cancer. So none of us want that to be there. So we would love to have the deity helping us on giving us sukha. So instead of finding the sukha in the senses, which I know is literally like running the mill, I will go to the God. Now, this japa, what I am doing of getting sukha, is nothing but looking for sensuality with a slight moral life. That means slight of yama and slight of niyama established. So, ahimsa to certain extent, satya to certain extent, asteya to certain extent, brahmacharya to some extent, and then aparigraha to very less extent. Then, if we come to the niyama, it can be saucha to some extent, santosha to little extent, tapas. It depends on what the person is expecting out of it. So there is a sukha which is tainted by lust and greed and all that because there is expectation. But that's okay. So there is tapas. Swa adhyaya is about knowing what is and what is not to some extent. Ishvara pranidhana to a little extent. But majorly the person is looking at enjoying the life without having to suffer. So when the God is giving him, he does it more and more because he believes that God is kind, God is compassionate, God is loving, God is taking care of him. Now, in that taking care, he would love that one thing which is coming, that is, his wishes are getting fulfilled, and that fulfillment has to happen all the time. So, to do that, this person has to necessarily go through ritual practices. And the best ritual practices for Bhuta Shuddhi is Agni. So he needs to do tapas and he needs to do this thing called as the Homa. Because without that, he possibly cannot do anything. Okay. So he needs to keep on doing that again and again and again so that it works. So if it doesn't work, he keeps on worrying about it. Why it is not working. So he wants that very thing to work. Now, as he starts doing that, the Homa, what he is doing, he has to offer. It doesn't come free. So he has to offer the Japa, what he has done. And for the Japa, he should have done it properly. Now, here is the catch. The catch is that a person requires a qualified guru in order to give the mantra suitable for that person, without which that japa cannot happen. And if that japa cannot happen, nothing else can happen because that is interconnected. So this is where he is now stuck. He is stuck because either he has to get the guru or he has to do it himself. So now the quest comes in finding the appropriate guru to show him the way. Now let us say he gets the guru. Very nice. To that extent, it is working. Now, what mantra? Now, here comes the problem about mantra, because that is what is to be done as japa for purification of the Bhuta. That has to be offered in the fire, Agni, so that that mantra can purify one of the element, which then purifies all the remaining element. So now we have to understand what is this purification in the first place. The purification is about getting rid of attachment to the element. Now then the question comes that who is the person who is getting attached to this elements? The Atma. But Atma is unattached. Okay, then it is the mind, Manas. But Manas has different items. It has Ahankara, it has Buddhi, it has Manas by itself, then it has Chitta, and all of these items are part of the Manas. Then we would say that it is actually the Ahankara which is attached to the five elements, which doesn't want to give up that. So in order to make that Ahankara agree to give up, we require a deity which is stronger than the ego. Let us say I have a highest amount of ego, that I am doing it. I require some God which is even more stronger than me. So for that kind of person, the Purusha kind of deities don't work. That is the Shiva or the Vishnu or Krishna or all of that doesn't work. What works is the Shakti kind. Can be Durga, can be Kali, can be someone who has killed the ego of the people. And Durga is the best example for removal of ego. So now I am a highly egoistic person, and it is better to go with Durga because that really helps. But if I am a very Saumya, that is, I am very soft person, then Lakshmi would be the most ideal, or Saraswati would be most ideal, because I am Saumya. Instead of Lakshmi, Saraswati is better because I have a Saumya Akara. If I have a Raudra Akara in my mind, then this Durga and all those kind would be beneficial. Now this Guru is supposed to look at what is the state of the mind based upon my talks, and then give me a deity which is appropriate for my kind of working. And then the Japa for starting of the sadhana. So there are two kinds of sadhana. One is the Laukika sadhana, wherein you keep the family unity happy and all that, because that is also required. Then the Antarika sadhana, which is the inside, so that the person can remain in the world and yet not attached to it. So I need to do the japa, then do the homa, then do the tarpana, then do the marjana, then offer it as a bhojana. These are the five things I need to be doing all the time, both physically and mentally. Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. So Kaya is by body, Vacha is by speech, Manasa is by the mind. I need to keep on offering it to the deity and seeing the deity in everything. Let us say I have Durga, then I see Durga in Krishna, I see Durga in everything. So my primary deity is Durga. Another thing we need to know is that we are born in a particular family is because our attachment to that deity. So if somebody is born with Murga, it is better to continue with Murga because that is the deity with which this person has taken birth. He wants to continue or she wants to continue from there. No point in changing to Krishna, let us say, because it doesn't work. If somebody is born to Subramanya and his name is also Subramanya, it is better to follow Subramanya because that is why he has been born in that place in the and name also has been provided equal to that. So each naming what has been given as Namakarana by the parent associate with that deity. So you have a family deity, you have a place deity, and all that. It is better to follow the family deity with which this person is born and offer himself to that deity. So, when do I come to know? In 21 days from the day you start, you will come to know whether it is working or not. If it is not working, then make it 42. If it is not working, then make it 64. Sorry, 84. Like that. And why it doesn't work? Because there is this problem: sthana, location, samaya, time, sankhya, the number, samagri, material, samyama, control of senses. If either one of them is faulty, especially nowadays, getting the right samagri or a material is not possible. It is always adulterated. So, any adulterated material which is brought and given as homa is not going to work. So, it can be twigs, it can be whatever incense or whatever is being offered, and the mindset of the person who has sold it. If the mindset of the person is profit, and when we buy it from the shop and we bring it to our home, it's basically not going to work because the samagri is bad or it is tainted with either lust or with greed or with dvesha, which is hatred or something like that. Let us say now we have this corona and the person who is selling these items has a very bad state of mind. The samagri is already tainted with that state of mind unless I know how to purify it. That means I should know alchemy of purification of that material from one state to another. And I'm a normal human being, I have no idea what alchemy is in the first place. So, in that case, it is not going to work because for alchemy to work, I require a respective mantra or bija mantra, basically, to cleanse those material, remove the taints from that material. Now that I don't know, I've just gone to a shop and bought it. I don't know what material he has used. Let us take an example of cow dung. If the cow dung is from the desi cows, that is what is required in the Jambu Dvipa. But if we go by Jersey or any other cows, that is not suitable for this part of the world. It is suitable for Denmark and European countries. They don't have the elemental purification like what the desi cows are. And you should know that owner, you should know that cow. This is the prime, what I can say, requirement. So I need to know the cow. and I need to know the calf. I need to know that whether the owner is keeping the cow and the calf in proper way, meaning it is not impoverished. That is, this person is taking care of the calf, giving enough milk from the cow, and then after it has finished feeding, this person is milking it, and he's taking care of it as though he's taking care of himself. So then I can carry the cow dung from that place. So that is the level of information I need to have. I need to first find that person. If I don't find that person, then I have to go to an ashram where like this it is done. I need to search for people who do it. There are people who do it in Bangalore, so we need to go and search. So then comes cow dung is over, very nice. Then comes bricks. The bricks which are to be used for mandala, homa, kunda, and all that should be made from mud which is uncorrupted, or it should have got cleansed using mantra. So this is another thing. Then the kumkum and arshana and all that what we use, the vermilion and the turmeric, that should also be purified. And the gomutra what is also got, it should also be good quality. And then the ghee what is got should be got from the cow through which the cow dung came. So this is the samagri, and then the other material for homa. And the person who is performing should be the yajamana, that is, he himself should do it, shouldn't appoint any agents. Meaning to say that I appoint a priest as an agent and I keep on saying mama, mama, that is not going to work. It is I who has to do the homa, not an agent. If that is done with samyama, control of senses, then the deity appears in 21 days. That is the anushtana what I need to follow, without which Bhuta Shuddhi is next to impossible. Then comes, after Bhuta Shuddhi, Bhuta clearances will help in the Chittashiti. Because we need to get out of the 6 tastes, that is Madhura, Lavana, Katu, Tikta, Amala, and Kashaya. And the 3 gunas, which is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So one has to transcend these 3 gunas, and then the Chitta is relieved of this attachment. There is no more ego. Then his mind is divine. Now he can cause or call the deity he wishes. So if the person is having murga, the murga is standing in front of the person all the time. Whether he or she is taking bath, or in the toilet, or in walking, or in talking, or in sleeping, or in standing, or whichever position that person is in. The bhutas are purified, so all are bhuta only. And hence that manifestation happens. The unmanifested is now manifested, so that becomes Saguna Brahman. Now he transcends that Saguna and gets into the Nirguna. So no gunas are there. That attributes what he was seeing as Murga or Krishna or Durga or whatever, that also is gone. With that crossing over, the person is not at all there. This person has crossed over from the samsara. This is what we need to do. So basically, what does that bring then? It moves a person from a gross sensual matter to something to do with karma kanda. Then from the Karma Kanda, he will move into the real puja and homa kind of a person who then knows that there is a deity and the deity is watching him or her. Then he will go into the first stage of upasana, and then he becomes to be known as the Karma Yogi because he is doing all for karma, redemption of karma, not for accumulation of karma, because now he has understood that everything is just five elements in one or the other order. And from then onwards, he experiences all the five elements in himself or herself, and hence the bhakti is totally established in that deity because he knows that the deity what he has is showing the right way and the right approach. Then the deity starts guiding and asking him to leave his family attachments and house attachment and all kind of attachments. So he gets into the sannyasa marga. So he becomes a sannyasi in the mind. Then due to repetition of the mantras and exceeding the way and purifying that through dhyana, he then becomes ever meditator in every stage or every state to a level that that person becomes a siddha purusha. So this is the Vedic way of life using the fire element. So the fire engulfs that individual completely. It kills him, meaning to say, it kills his identity. With identity not being there, he is completely liberated. So, in our Vedic mantras, hymns, what we sing as Rig Veda, it's all about Agni and it's all about Apo because these two are most required for purification. Like in the case of Tarpana and Marjana, also we use a lot of water, the Udaka, because that helps in purification. Any questions so far on what we covered?
I think what you have been mentioning so far is that Shuddhi, Bhuta Shuddhi, that is ritual.
Correct.
The ritual is called not spirituality, right? It's just a ritual.
Yes, that leads to spiritual.
Yeah, I got it. So, initially the rituals are important for us. That means discipline is important to reach spirituality.
Correct.
See, if a person, you are not born as a Brahmin, you will not do yajna. Nowadays, I am talking.
Correct.
And if you don't have money, you cannot do any puja, nothing.
Correct.
And if you have all that wealth only, you will do all these kind of shuddhis. If you don't have wealth, if you don't have time, then sitting in one place, you can achieve all that through just meditation. Can I safely say that? No, yes. Now you are a religious person. Now you are moving to spiritual plane. So you will leave all this and then only through meditation you will try to achieve this. That means you are not bounded by anything.
Correct. So this is what Shankara started.
Okay.
So it's not that Shankara rejected the idea of Bhuta Shuddhi. Shankara wanted to teach that you can attain without doing all of this. Okay, and that is the reason what you said that other day is that if you look at Buddha and Shankara, they both almost are the same. Because it is all about Chittashiti. If the moment we come to Shankara's either Viveka Chudamani or you go to Aparoksha Anubhuti or Drigdishya Viveka or anything, whatever is spoken about, whatever Shankara has stated, it's all on Chitta, it is not on Bhuta. including.
We lost you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, no, what I was saying is that whatever Shankara has stated is all on the Chitta. It's not on the Bhuta Shuddhi. All the rituals, what we do is for Bhuta Shuddhi. So one need to really understand what he or she really wants. He can't mix both. It's not going to work. Little bit of this and little bit of that is not going to work. So that's the problem. So now how do I do Chittashiti? If I leave the Bhuta aside. Now the Chitta Shuddhi is about the Jnana Marga, whereas the Bhuta Shuddhi is about the Bhakti Marga. So now when I come to Chitta, I need to understand my mind. So the mind has to be let go of its own impressions, vasanas. So Bhagavad Gita talks about some of that in terms of Chitta Shuddhi, not from the Bhuta Shuddhi at all. It gives lot of information, lot of focus is on the Chitta Shuddhi, especially the chapters what we have gone, like the second chapter and the third chapter and fourth and fifth and sixth and 13th chapter, 8th chapter, like that, 15th chapter, 16th chapter. All of this only talk about the Tattvam Asi portion of it, and then it talks about how one can reach the highest by purifying one's chitta or mind, or we sometimes also use Atma. So we can use any naming convention to that, but that's basically what we are supposed to be doing. Now when come to Chitta Shuddhi, which is the best among all, if somebody were to see, then the Buddha teaching is easy to follow and it has steps. If we go by Bhagavad Gita or go by Viveka Chudamani or by Aparokshanabhuti or by something, it is perfectly there. The last step is something what a person has to find by himself or herself. And this is where Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya rejected the view of Shankara that every person can jump away from the samsara. That's not possible. So they always said that there should be some guru or some god who can help. And nobody can help as much as Sri Hari can help. And then Sri Hari is the person who can lead, because he is Gunatita. So he can only show how to transcend the guna and nobody else. So now you have two philosophies which will help you with this Chitta Shuddhi. One is from Shankara, which we have extensively covered, and I also covered something yesterday and earlier days on the dependent origination of Buddha. The last part is there in the Buddha teaching, and the last part is missing in the Shankara teaching, because he feels that this is something what the person has to find out for himself or herself, not that he can say how to jump. So what is this?
We'll ask one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The spirituality is self-experience.
Correct.
And we cannot get that experience from others. It's like we only have to practice, we have to enjoy, like tasting food ourselves.
Correct.
And satisfying our hunger by eating ourselves. Other person cannot do that.
Correct.
And then when you follow, I have understood Buddha and Shankaracharya, yes, it is experiential. But if you follow, say, Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya, they say you need to have a in-between, a god called Mahavishnu.
Correct.
And then they say you follow the Bhakti.
Correct.
So, Bhakti, is it spirituality or not, is my question, number one. Number two, Bhakti, is it experiential or it is just a surrender?
Bhakti is surrender. You are not
then
there.
Where is the spirituality in Bhakti? Bhakti is not a spirituality then.
Bhakti
it is Chitta Shuddhi.
No, bhakti is not chitta shuddhi at all. Bhakti, when bhakti comes, it is about going and doing what the guru says or the deity says.
Yeah, it is ritual then.
It is above ritual. It is not really ritual because
Yeah, it's above ritual. Yes.
It is this way. But let us say I find you as the right person for me to guide. I will exactly do whatever you tell me to do. If things are not working, then I will cry. And somehow, after some days, it works. So then I'm very happy that you have helped me. Again, I fall down. Again, I say, Parugani so Hariye, and then that Hari will come and he will lift me and he will do things to me.
Yeah, if you see Shabari Moksha, it is immediately from Bhakti converted to Mukti. There is no in between something called spirituality.
No, there is spiritual. What she did in terms of Shabri is that her mind already had established in Rama. She never considered herself different than Rama.
Yeah, correct. Eating that fruit and all that.
Yeah, she experienced Rama in her. The duality is gone.
Then it is Shabari is not a bhakti then. Shabari is already a completely immersed devotional person. What do you call it? Not devotee, a spiritual person.
Yeah, so now let us understand about between the bhakti.
See, I have still doubt after these discussions past 1 week. I was thinking bhakti is also spirituality. Now I started getting a small doubt. Bhakti is below spirituality but above religion.
No, wait. So let me give you some clarity on that. Dharmika is religion. You are following something. So I believe in so and so dharma. Dharma means which is good for senses, 5 senses. That is called as dharma. So whatever is good for 5 senses is called as dharma. Now, what is good for 5 senses? That which doesn't make you suffer out of 5 senses. All suffering starts with 5 senses. So what we are doing is we are establishing something which will make sure that you don't suffer out of the 5 senses. So that process is called as dharma. So when I say I am following Hindu dharma, or I am following Buddha dharma, or I am following Mohammedan dharma, or I am following Christ dharma, or whatever dharma, what it means is that for 5 senses, suffering is reduced by following any one of the procedure indicated in this dharma. So this is called as dharmika. A person who is following that dharma is called as dharmika. The disadvantage of this is I will always consider the other who is following another dharma is not right dharma, because my dharma is good dharma, your dharma is bad dharma. This is one fundamental fault in dharma. If everybody will say I am following right dharma, because that which brings prosperity to 5 senses is the dharma. Now from there we are transcending to Adhya Atma. What is Atma? Atma is what is called as myself or personality. Adhyatma is above myself. Something which is above me is called Adhyatma. Now I should exist and something above also is existing. So this is where we start with Dvaita. I is also true, and that Bhagavanta or the God or whatever we call is also true. So both are true in its nature. Okay, that is Purusha is also true, Prakrti is also true. They both are true. They both exist. They coexist. It's not like one is leaning on the other. They both exist. Okay, so if we have something like that in anything in nature, then that manifestation or non-manifestation is not in my hand, it is in the hand of the God. So for which I need to have bhakti to understand what is this God. Okay, what is bhakti? What is bhakta? Bhakti is a state of mind which believes that something like that exists. Asti. And there is something called Nasti. So, na asti is nasti. So, those people who don't believe that God exists is a nastika because he doesn't have a bhakti, a belief that all of this which is appearing is because of God or whatever he thinks as God or because of dharma or whatever he believes in. So, this belief system is the one called as bhakti. Now, once he gets an experience, if he cannot experience anything, then that is become andha bhakti, and that is blind faith. Blind belief, not faith, blind belief. Now, let us say he experiences the deity. 21 days he does the puja, havan, and homa, and all of that, and he achieves what it has to be achieved in that, which brings Shreyas to the five senses, and he is able to see the deity whom he had in his mind. That turns into Shraddha. So this is called as faith. Once faith gets established, the bhakti goes away because bhakti leads to Shraddha. Without bhakti, there can't be any Shraddha. So there is so much of bhakti in that person that even if that deity were to come and say you are wrong, he will prove that he is right. So bhakti leads to Shraddha. If he cannot experience that, bhakti might lead him to andha bhakti, that one day it will happen and that one day can be any day, or he will start changing to some other deity because this deity did not give him what he thought he will be getting out of that deity. So the only thing you can do is to offer yourself to that God or to that deity or whatever we think as that prime deity. So, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay, there are some people who have joined online on YouTube also. So there is one nice question. So let me answer that. When you say liberated, sir, does it mean through death? When we surrender, there is no experience because there is no self. Okay, so let us answer to this question.
This is going on live?
Yeah, this is live. Every day it is live, and yesterday somebody messaged me saying that can I join it? I said you can join. This is on YouTube live, so you can join. What is there?
Okay.
And they wanted to ask some question. It is good. So no, it is not through death. The experience here is that the self is gone. The self personality view is gone, and then the person knows what is reality. That he experiences the Satchitananda, which is nothing but the Brahmananda. And when we surrender, there is no experience because there is no self. Yes, there is no self. And without self only you can experience everything. How do element manifest at the level of senses? It must take a very specific awareness to grasp the element in their entirety. Yes, that's correct. So as an example, nice question of this. So let me explain to you how the senses work and the sense object. If we take chakshu, eye, you require light. So you require agni. And for the basic rupa to appear, it is consisting of all the four elements. You require prithvi, you require apo, you require vayu, and you require tejo. That four elements creates rupa. Then the second, if you take shabda, sound. Sound can only happen if there is vayu and there is akasha. Without these two elements being there, there cannot be any sound. If you remove the vayu, it cannot come and hit your ear. So you cannot basically hear anything. If there is no space, ear has space. You have hole in the ear. If the holes were to be closed, you cannot hear anything, even though the sound is there. How do you know? You have what is that? noise cancellation headphones. If you wear them, you can't hear any sound. Why? Because it has closed your ear, so you can't hear anything. Similarly, if you close your eyes, you cannot hear, you cannot see anything, even though the rupa exists, and even though the light exists, still you cannot see. Now we come to gandha. For gandha to be there, that is the smell to appear, you require two things. You require the prithvi and you require the vayu. Prithvi has smell, earth has smell, and to pass that smell, you require this thing called as air. Then, if we that is then if we go to rasa, then you require prithvi and you require apo. Then if we were to go with kaya or the sharira or something like that, then it requires all the five elements before which we can touch. So all these five should be experienced by the person. And how do we do it? You have to contemplate on each one of these expressions what we have. So these are called a tanmatra. So we have five tanmatras, that is rupa, shabda, rasa, gandha, sparsha. These are the five tanmatras, and we have five indriyas. We have chakshu indriya, shrotra indriya, ghrana indriya, jivha indriya, and sharira indriya. These are the five indriyas. So their guna is attaching to one another, but it is actually five elements only, created out of five elements. So now coming back to this question on what we were discussing is that once the person's faith, how does the faith come? Faith comes out of experience. So every person undergoes his or her own unique experience, because that is what is there in his or her chitta. Even though we look all the same, the karma is different of each one of us, so the experience is also different for each one of us. It cannot be the same experience. So what I experience as reality would be a different experience for each individual person. So what we are trying to do is to make it uniform. We need to go with a deity. That's the most easiest thing to do, is to form a deity in the mind and offer everything to the deity. Then the shraddha will arise. Once the shraddha arises, the person is in spiritual. Before he experiences anything, he is in devotion, not even in bhakti. His in belief comes after devoting something. That means I have to first devote myself. So I am devoted, I become a devotee. Okay, and then I become a bhakta. And then I become a shraddhalu. That is, I have created a shraddha. That is the faith. So one will lead to the other. So devotion will lead to the bhakti, and the bhakti will lead to the shraddha, and shraddha will lead to the jnana. And from bhakti you can get into jnana, from jnana you can again get to bhakti. Both of them lead to the same kind of state. Okay, so these two steps, that is, number one, that transcending the religion, dharma, into adhyatma would mean that I am willing to give up this personality, because there is no personality as such, and that is adhya atma, above the personality view. And once I come into that, I am able to see the five elements with their five tanmatras and five senses. These 15 I am able to see, and five karma indriyas, that becomes 20. Now it becomes easy for me to see the manas, buddhi, ahankara, and the mula prakriti. Mula prakriti consisting of rajas, tamas, sattva. So with transcending all of that, I can now liberate, meaning I can experience that reality which is unconditioned through this upasana, which is through the leading the path through bhakti into jnana. Then if we come to the view of Shankara, which is non-dual or Advaita, it is first understanding that there is duality, that is Dvaita, there is Papa and Punya, there is Sukha and Dukkha, there is Raga and Dvesha. All of these are dualities. So one needs to transcend the duality by first understanding what is the person made up of. The person is made up of a filthy body, which is called a Sharira, that is decaying minute by minute. And then understanding each one of these will give him a complete insight into the three gunas, that is the Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, plus the three doshas, which is the dosha of Vata, dosha of Pitta and Kapha. Then he comes to understand about the Sapta Dhatu. So he will know that from the food what the person is eating, it will become Rasa Dhatu, then the Rakta Dhatu, then the Mamsa Dhatu, Meda Dhatu, Asti Dhatu, Majja Dhatu, and Shukra Dhatu. These are the 7 Dhatus what gets formed, and he knows that he has no control over it. Okay, and that's the time his mind starts to investigate about the dhatus, and he finds that he is made up of 3 malas. So one is the mutra, second one is the purisha, third one is the sweda. Mutra is urine, purisha is the feces, and sweda is the sweat. So he now knows that any person he sees is only made out of these 3 gunas and 3 doshas, 7 dhatus, and 3 mala. So whether called as a wife or a husband or a son or a daughter or a friend or whatever, this is what it is. So then he investigates further into the manasika sharira. Then he knows that it includes only thoughts and emotions and all of these things, which again it is not he or she. Then he comes to understand about the karana sharira, which is rajas, tamas, sattva. So now he knows that all of this is a filthy thing because they decay. Rajas, tamas, sattva is decaying. The manasika sharira is also decaying. The physical sharira, which is created out of the three doshas and the 7 dhatu, sapta dhatus, and the 3 mala, there is nothing to hold. There is no need for him to keep on holding it as mine and myself. Knowing that, he is able to understand that pot and clay, in every body he is seeing all these 7 dhatus. In every person he is seeing it is made out of the 3 doshas. Some have high pitta, some have low pitta, some have high vata, low vata, some have high kapha, low kapha. But basically it is all vata, pitta, kapha. Then he also knows that some are fat, some are lean, some are tall, some are short. All of that is because of the sapta dhatu, not because they are really like that. Then he also sees that, or she also sees that whatever we called he and she goes to the restroom all the time and does the same thing again and again. If the person walks up and down, the sweat is going to come. So there is nothing to be held as me and myself and mine. So he gives up that, because now he is able to do a viveka, that is discrimination between the real and unreal. He now knows what he thinks as the body-mind complex is filthy. There is no real essence in that at all. It is not to be regarded as something great. So he throws that away. Okay. And then like that he keeps on finding, then he knows that the concept of clay with the pot, and where does the clay come from? Clay is also one of its own essence. So there should be something in clay which can make the pot, just like there should be something in all the humans and all the animals and everything which is making up this whole thing. So then he drops the personality view, that is the clay view also. And once he drops the clay view as well, then he transcends from the clay and the pot. Because if he keeps clay, pot is definitely going to be there. Because in pot, he can only see clay. He cannot see the pot, nama and rupa. Now he finds that he has a rupa because there is nama. What if there was no nama and rupa? Then can anything get established there? Nothing. Having experienced that reality, the person is liberated, the chittas are liberated, and he can see that there is only chit which is remaining, not chitta. Now he transcends through the neutral chitta what he has in his mind, that which we call as conscience. So he is cleaned. All his chittas are now cleaned. It has got frozen. And because it has got frozen, he is now able to see yogas chitta vritti nirodha. That is, yoga means cessation of movement in the chitta. There is no longer any cause of concern for anyone to see on anything whatsoever, because the chittas are completely frozen. Then the second step happens. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Now he knows his true nature. What is his true nature? He doesn't arise nor it pass away. Every chitta will arise and pass away. And every senses arise and pass away. Every tanmatra arises and pass away. Every element will arise and pass away. This is the only thing which doesn't arise and pass away. And that cannot be explained or experienced except for experiencing it, because there is no I to experience. So he transcends that reality. This is from Shankara. And from the Buddha, if we were to take, he does through the same thing, but he gives something beyond. That is, he explains about what is chitta and how does they arise, how does that individuality come into existence and all of that, thus relieving the person from attachment to all of these senses and sense bases and getting off from there into the reality. So Shankara did something extraordinary by explaining, using the Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutra, about how the whole equation works. Instead of getting into a blind faith kind of a situation or a blind belief kind of a situation and trying to purify through the elemental route of going through the yaga and yajna and homa and all that, wherein the purity of the thought and purity of the material is primarily required, he showed a way wherein you can do the same thing by not attaching to the bhuta, but you can cleanse the chitta so that it can then get rid of the attachment with the bhuta. Yep, but any question on that?
That is a fine explanation. Now coming back to this bhakti and moksha, see, in the bhakti, when you reach the ultimate bhakti, your ego is zero, right?
Correct. So you get into moksha.
When ego is zero, that is nothing but moksha by default.
Correct, absolutely. When you don't exist, then it is
Yes.
moksha.
So where is the jnanam here?
Jnanam here is that you don't exist is the jnana.
Okay. You don't exist is the jnanam. That means the steps what you follow through bhakti marga, it crosses through jnanam only for moksha.
Yes. Bhakti
Shankaracharya says, don't directly go to jnanam and get moksha.
Yes.
But Madhvacharya says, from your existing level to go to jnanam, you have to follow this
bhakti marga. Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
So if you go by the Dasa Sahitya, like Purandara Dasa, Kanaka Dasa, Vijaya Dasa, all those Dasa, they made a Dasa of a deity. And
Yeah.
from there they got Jnana,
Yeah.
which is fine, which is perfect.
So for learned people, for intellectual people, or the people who have gone through so-called Veda, Shastra and all that, for them Jnana may work.
Yes.
But for others, because
Bhakti
they
will
don't
work.
have that connection with Jnana, they have to follow Bhakti, which is easier compared to going through the
Jnana.
Jnana from the beginning.
Exactly. All right.
So we are following, I think, initially Bhakti only. Because we are Dvaita.
Yes, we all are Dvaitis
Yeah,
only.
Dvaitas,
None of them are Advaiti.
If you say that I have a deity, this is my goddess, then I am Dvaiti immediately.
Yes, absolutely. Beyond doubt.
And that too in Dvaiti, we have so-called, I can say, we have again done divisions, multiple divisions in that by keeping multiple gods.
Correct.
So other day's discussion is you have one god, that's sufficient, and you see all other gods if you want through that god. At least the Dwara is same. Then you are entering the Garbhagudi. From Garbhagudi, when you surrender through your bhajans or bhakti related any actions, puja or whatever, then naturally you forget your this Panchabhuta connection. Then your Tanmatra is also now not expecting anything. It is zero. So all doors are closed. And then you have only one door open for spirituality.
Correct. See, ultimately, but we need to experience the 24 tattvas. Once you experience the 24 tattvas, then you are released.
Yeah, correct. 24 tattva is common across, right? For
yes.
all these
all the
Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan.
Yes, all the Sanatan Dharma have 24 tattvas.
So the last tattva, what you said, that is very interesting for me. I think Mula Prakrti.
Yes.
That was not there earlier in my dictionary. So Mula Prakrti understanding is the last, and then you drop it.
Yes. That is what Shankara did. He looked into the pot and the clay.
Yeah.
Then he dropped the pot. The nama is gone, right? The pot is gone. But you're still holding on to the clay. So now the karana also has to be removed, right? The karana is this rajas, sattva, tamas.
Yeah.
So if I hold the pot, still there is a taint. So I need to drop that clay.
So you're just detaching from this Prakriti. The moment you detach from Prakriti, you are Purusha.
You have always been Purusha. By mistake you have attached to Prakriti.
Yes, correct. I think this is very easy for any person to understand this concept.
Correct. So now you have two choices. So the question comes, which one do you want to go for? that is the reason I did 7 classes. Today is the 7th class of this Bhuta Shuddhi and Chitta Shuddhi.
No, it gave a lot of clarification.
But we have already started on the path.
I know that.
Choosing anymore.
No, I just wanted to give clarity. I know we already started on this path. So if somebody still wants to go through Bhakti Marga is also good. Somebody wants to go into Jnana Marga is also good. But don't stand in between. Because Bhakti will give Jnana. Jnana will eventually also bring you to Bhakti.
Yeah. Anyway, I think both will intertwine. It is not that at the end only this both will intertwine, but in the path itself, both will intertwine and go.
Yes, both will intertwine and go. So Bhakti and Jnana will go like that, and everything will interlink itself.
Yeah, I think my understanding is that.
Yeah, the final thing is the wisdom. So when the wisdom comes, then the ignorance is gone, or the avidya is gone.
Yes, so Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, you are in Jyoti now.
Yeah. So now my question is how to, what do you say, this Mula Prakriti, as Bhatt says, there are 3 things, Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. How to transcend that?
Very good question. So first, What is the most easiest? You think of
Tamas.
it.
Tamas.
No.
Maybe.
Tamas is the hardest.
Hardest. Oh.
Rajas is the most easiest.
Movement. Yes.
There is movement. Right now you want to go and move to the temple also, there is Rajas.
Yes.
And you want to go to a cinema hall also, there is Rajas. Right? So first we have to transcend the Rajas to a level that what for this Rajas is used. It is to move from two places, Sattva to Tamas, Tamas to Sattva.
Correct.
That's all we have been doing. So take Rajas movement and apply it on essence, Sattva. What happens?
Yeah, you become sattvic.
You become Sattvic. Then what happens to Tamas?
Tamas is hidden somewhere.
No, it's not hidden. No, it's not like that. Actually, Tamas has heaviness and Sattva has lightness. Okay. Tamas has inertia. Sattva has this ability to become itself. Okay. And both are same actually. Tamas and Sattva are the same, two faces of the same coin. So what initially, or rather all the time, our mind is Rajasic, Tamasic. Meaning I care a lot about my career, I care a lot about my degree, I care a lot about my family, I care a lot about my image in the society and all of that. That caring thing is the Rajas. The activity which I undertake to care, that is Tamas. That the end result is Tamas.
Activity you said is Rajas.
I know, but the end result of that is Tamas.
Okay.
Because we keep on hoarding it.
Okay.
See, now let us say I have a property which is in, let us say, I have it in Bangalore. So I have it in Devanahalli, let us say. I don't have anyone. I'm just giving an example. Now, today, will I be the most happiest person of having that property in Devanahalli?
No, it is maybe at that point of time you would have been happy.
Yes.
And it is there, just there.
It is there because now I can't even sell because there is corona and all that. Nobody will buy and the price will be very less and almost come to the price what I would have bought. So nothing I can do. So that is tamas of storing. If I didn't have any property at all, am I not lighter?
Yeah, you don't have anything to care, correct.
Yes. So but for both of these activities, the rajas is required, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So generally we are on rajasic, tamasic kind of mentality. We keep on hoarding. So the ultimate aim of doing all of these things is to hoard. For tomorrow, for my child, for their grandchildren and this and that and all that is part of tamas. So the first thing to do is to move this rajas into sattva. That gives you the yama and niyama. Now what happens to tamas? Tamas will brighten up. Brighten up in the sense that it starts cleaning. That heaviness, the dullness is slowly getting eliminated. So rajas brings in more and more and more and purity into that person's life because it is associated now with sattva. So you transcend from tamasic attitude to sattvic attitude. First step. Second step, you recognize what is moving what now. Rajas is moving sattva and rajas is moving tamas. Are you moving?
No, you are fixed. Yes.
So now you come to know the reality that you are basically have got nothing to do with this movement of sattva into tamas and rajas and all that, right?
Yeah.
You just become an observer now. You will start laughing. One time, this property in this Devanhalli made me happy. Now it is making me sad. Land is a land, right?
Yep.
Because there is a value in the land, this happiness and sadness is coming. So the duality is where then? Is it in the land? It's in the mind. It's in the chitta. And chitta is holding what? Rajas, tamas, sattva. Now through moving from rajas into sattva, I am able to see what tamas can do for me. So I drop tamas. But if I drop tamas, I have to drop the other two also.
Yeah, correct.
So by dropping tamas, I have made myself very light. The moment mind picks up to this lightness, it wants to remain in that lightness forever. So it drops rajas, movement. If tamas and rajas are not there, sattva also cannot move, right?
Right.
So he stays in that state forever. It doesn't move anywhere.
Yeah, so this is the last, right?
Yes.
So this is something which is difficult to transcend.
Yes, that is difficult to transcend, but one needs to keep on practicing it. Then it works. Then the mind is so pure that it doesn't get associated with sattva, rajas, tamas.
Yeah, that anyway will be there. These three things will anyway be there, but then you don't get affected by it.
Yes, those three things will exist, but not for you because you don't exist there.
Yeah, correct.
If you exist, again there is sattva, rajas, tamas are going to be there.
Yeah, correct. That is the starting point.
That's again the starting point. You came into existence because of that only the sattva, rajas, tamas are there.
Yeah, because of these three things in imbalance is when you came.
Yes. So now to answer to this question, am I attached to Prakrti by mistake or by karma? It is not by mistake. It is because this personality created karma.
Correct.
And that is the reason I am attached. Meaning, at one time I laugh and another time I cry because that is there in my karma to laugh and cry. Because that is one time taking me to sattva, another time it is taking me to tamas. What if karma exists as karma and I don't have to do any further karma, which is called as Karma Yoga?
Yeah, you're just trying to cut the link, but all that thing exists, but still you're cutting.
Yeah, you just, yes, by cutting the twigs and cutting the branches, it's not going to cut the tree. You have to cut the tree.
Yeah.
So when we cut
the tree is you.
Yes, cutting the tree is you, that or me. That minus if I were to cut, then I am transcended. So this is what Kanakadasa said when the teacher, when these people asked, will you go to heaven or will you get mukti? He said, Nanu hodare hodenu. That is, if I go, I will definitely go.
Yeah.
And that guru understood what he meant. The shishyas of that guru thought that how inappropriate of this person to insult our guru, saying that he will go but no others will. What he meant was he is transcending the rajas, sattva and tamas, or sattva, rajas, tamas. So first take the rajas, make its normal tendencies move towards tamas, make it move towards sattva. When you start flowing into sattva, that lightness will happen and you drop from the tamasic, from the mind. The attachment goes away, and because there is no attachment to that tamasic thing, your mind starts remaining in sattva for a long period of time. Then the rajas stops moving and you remain in sattva. Then finally give up the sattva also. then you are liberated. So we finished all 24 tattvas and one Purusha, 25. So
Yeah.
Sankhya also done.
So you have done so many things today. Bhuta Shuddhi, Chitta Shuddhi, then all these tattvas, everything we have covered. Summary.
Yes, summary of everything. I think after this, I don't have anything to talk, seemingly.
No, you will have anyway things to talk tomorrow also.
Yeah. That will be there.
So it will be there.
Shri Hari Paramanandam, any questions you have? I think out a whole group, Shri Hari is the only person who is now in Paramananda.
I'm just to relate the. I'm trying to understand. Yeah, for some time I was also in Paramananda.
Good. So there is a nice mantra from Shankaracharya. So whenever I recite it, I always remember you because he says Shri Hari Paramanandam Upadeshtaram Ishwaram Vyapakam Sarva Lokanam Karanam Tam Pranamamyaham. So I don't know whether I'm prostrating to this Shri Hari or that Shri Hari.
I think today the session is going because of Krishna Janmashtami, na?
Correct.
Real Upadesha is happening, a consolidated way.
Yeah.
There is something impact of God, Lord Krishna.
So another you were also mentioning, like 21 days that mantra doesn't work, then you have to try another 21 days. But how do you know? I'm asking a theoretical question. No? How do you know that is it because of the mantra is not right for you, or is because of all those samagris mentioned?
What normally happens, Lata, is that in your dream you will come to know. When you sleep, between the time of 12 to 4 in the night, that deity with whom you are doing it will you will come to know.
So you will come to know whether it is
Samagri.
right or not.
Yeah, whether your devotion has a fault or the Samagri has a fault or the Sadhana has a fault or the Samaya has a fault or what has a fault.
Okay.
So you will come to know. So all the saints, all the people, including those people who are supposed to have understood in the recent past also, have got that in their dreams. Correct?
Yeah. So many things comes in the dreams only. Yes.
So you will come to know in your dream of what you said, what you did, whether it is right or whether it is wrong. I'll give you another example, Lata. It's a very nice thing from the last so many days. I am able to not sleep yet sleep in the night. It's a very nice.
That means you are aware that you are sleeping.
Yes, I am aware. I'm sleeping and I'm watching the breath and I'm doing everything. So it is so nice. I am so fresh all the time. 24/7. I'm now fresh.
That is really good. So if you are able to see your deep sleep, that is very good.
Yeah, so I'm able to see the deep sleep. There is no more ignorance. So that tamasic mind does not seem to exist.
Yeah, I think all these dreams, mostly it happens around 2:30 to 3 or 4.
Correct. So
kind of,
generally from 12 to 4, you get all of these. So the best time to really meditate is to get up at 3 o'clock. So let us say I now get up at 3 o'clock and I sit and I offer myself to the deity, meaning to say that I prostrate and I say, whichever deity. Let us say I like Krishna, so now I fold my hands and utter the Nama of Krishna, or I do Keshava Nama, let us say, and as soon as I finish the entire Keshava Nama, then the Krishna appears in the mind, and then I offer my ego to Krishna, saying that I am giving it to you. So Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. If I were to do that, then miraculous thing will start happening. The jnana will start pouring in. So this is how it works. So all the fault which are happened will get to know in the dream. So now I was talking about alchemy, that mantra. Okay, now let us say I buy the samagri and I bring it. I don't have to do anything. What I need to do is take the udaka, water, and sprinkle it on all the things what I have brought. Okay, and I fold my hands and I offer to, let us say, I now offer to the Krishna because I love Krishna. So then I will say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, like that. I will do something like that, and I offer to the lotus feet of Krishna. And that's it. It is purified. I don't now have to worry about whether that cow dung was good quality or whether that person had taken care of the cow and the calf and all of that. With my hand is already having that divinity. So the moment I do the prokshana of that water on that substance what has been brought, and I offer to the God, and I said that it is for you, not for me, then Krishna comes exactly standing in front of me and accepts it, saying that I will take care of that person who is given it to you. You don't have to worry. I am accepting whatever you are giving. So the bhojana has happened. So now if I do the homa, okay, now I am offering everything to that deity in my mind. So when the mantra chanting starts, that mantra itself is for the deity. So the homa kunda, whether that brick was from my home or somebody's home or somebody gave it to me, the mud quality was good or not, whether it is purified or not, and all that need not have to be considered. So the first step is
that is after the deity is established in you.
For that reason only, before you get into the other part of it, you have to establish the deity in 21 days.
Yeah, that's what. So that's what I am asking.
Yes, you need
in that
to do.
First 21 days, if it is not working, then how do you know?
No, at that time you are not bringing any samagri, right? You are not doing homa and havana and all that.
Okay.
It is only japa.
Only japa, correct.
Only japa. So now if you see all saint, from Ramakrishna Paramahamsa to Vivekananda to anybody whom we know, at least from their life history or whatever, they offered themselves to whomever they believed. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
And the Guru appeared. Whether in human form or any form, the Guru appeared.
Correct.
And they started preaching what they need to do. So after that everything works. So 21 day doesn't happen, meaning to say that I have not made a very strong sankalpa. So it is not working because of that reason. The moment I do a very strong sankalpa, it should work, right?
Yeah, it should work.
Vilas, I have one question. All these are expectations, no?
Yes.
All these are expectations, right?
Yes.
Meaning something should happen, something did not happen. It's a relative comparison of what should have happened, what did not happen.
Correct.
Right?
Agreed.
No, but then is the expectation right?
Initially, yes. You need to have that expectation. Otherwise, see, without motivation, nothing will work. Motivation itself is expectation. Whether you are on a Jnana Marga or a Bhakti Marga, it doesn't matter. Initially, you are going to set an expectation and a goal. A goal is itself is an expectation, right?
No, goal is a target.
I got it, but for
Goal is a target, meaning you have to work for a goal. But if you look at whatever we went through in Bhagavad Gita, even when Krishna says the result of your war is not in your hands, that is not at all what you're supposed to. Okay, you are having a war because you want the dharma to win. Okay, the dharma to win is the target, but still the expectation should not be that I win the war.
No, that is correct. No, that is first you need to have that and then give up that. For everything you need to have and then give it up. So that is what you're giving as a ahuti. You initially start with yourself and then give yourself to the ahuti with that sacrificial fire or that yajna. What you're doing your own. That's the reason in that Bhagavad Gita we read that Brahma yajna, all that yajna which is part of the same one. So yes, initially we have expectation.
That is what you're saying, that Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havihi,
yes.
Brahma Yajnam.
So he talks about 9 different yajnas. In that, Brahma yajna is the best yajna.
Okay.
Okay, it's almost 10 or 10:01 now.
I need to leave. I have one.
Yes.
Same here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice session. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks to all of you also. Thank
And
you. Then.
happy Janmashtami today to all.
Same to you and same to everyone. Let everyone be
Bye-bye.
happy. Thank you then. Bye.
Bye.